Hi, Theater Pizzazz. I'm Meredith Heyman. So excited to be talking Broadway with you this morning. Joining me today is the choreographer of two of this season's biggest shows, the revival of The Who's Tommy and the new musical, The Heart of Rock and Roll, Lorin Latarro. Lorin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Now, let's jump right into it. We have two huge rock musicals all around. When it comes to the choreography, how do you approach productions in terms of like the language of dance and going into them, especially when it comes to rock?
Yeah, I mean, I think rock dance is sort of metaphoric by nature, and rock and roll is metaphoric by nature. I mean, a lot of those lyrics in these rock and roll songs are not literal patter songs that you get from a Sondheim show.
Right.
So I think they're actually really good mates. They go hand in hand, where I think you're not stuck being so grounded and literal. So it's a lot of fun. You sort of can choreograph in a way that is, I guess, more whimsical and certainly high velocity dancing.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's start with the first musical in terms of high velocity dancing. We have the first revival of The Who's Tommy, and that is like just so beyond exciting. What does it mean for you to be working on it, on the revival? And when you were approached to work on the revival, like what did you think?
I mean, it's a dream come true. I feel a great sense of responsibility to both Pete Townsend and Des McAnuff. I mean, this is a piece of theater that will stand the test of time. And I just feel, I worked really hard on it. I felt very responsible to sort of make this happen in a way that they were happy with. And, I did American Idiot, and American Idiot wouldn't have existed without the Who's Tommy. So it feels very full circle for me personally.
What was it like for you in creating the movement for this revival? And I think a lot of what we're thinking about with this revival is why now? How do you make the show feel relevant now? Although it really does have like a timelessness to it already.
Yes.
How, what was that work for you in terms of the dance and the movement?
I think the show is completely timeless. I think there will always be trauma. I think there will always be healing. I think there will always be a politician or a rock star or a celebrity who gains of celebrity. Sorry. I think that there will always be a rock star or a celebrity or a politician who gains followers up to a frenzy, creates a movement, that movement becomes distorted, that movement falls apart. That will happen over and over again for the next 1,000 years. So I try to make the movement not feel like it's like specific dance steps from any era. So I really went back to my modern roots because I feel like something about modernism feels more timeless. A lot of Graham, from my years in Graham, a bit of, just modern dance and instead of hot jazz.
That makes sense. That makes sense. An embarrassment of riches for you this season, not only working on two musicals, but working on with two music rock god icons. I mean, that's I want to talk about like the full specter of that. But what is that like to have Pete Townsend on one, and then we're just about to get Huey Lewis's The Heart of Rock and Roll. What is that like?
It's amazing. And they know each other and they respect each other, which is really Pete invited Huey to opening. Huey has these great stories about Pete. It's really extraordinary. And I feel honestly, again, this great sense of responsibility. These guys are rock deities. They change the course of music. And I feel so lucky, but I really do feel responsibility. And Huey is the nicest. And I like had a huge crush on him as a teenager. Every time he walks in, I sort of blush. He's just a sweetheart.
So what is it like working with him now and bringing not bringing his music, but bringing the choreography up and the movement of his music to a brand new place, the Broadway stage? How does it fit for musical theater? Why is it right for this genre?
This show is more like Pajama Game and How to Succeed in Business than it is a rock opera. It really is sort of a delicious old fashioned musical using Huey's music. And if you go back and you watch Huey's videos, Huey Lewis in the News, I really recommend Googling these videos if any of you are too young to know MTV. They were cheeky and funny and silly and delicious and sexy. And I really modeled the choreography off the videos.
Mm,
I tried to pick up the tone of the original Huey Lewis in the News MTV videos.
yeah. Yeah. And but on the, let's say on the other end of the spectrum with this, to have two huge musicals, again, two huge rock names in one season, and not only just one season, but you're both at the latter half of the Broadway season, the spring part, which is just the craziest time. How do you balance all of that?
I don't sleep. I'll sleep after April 22nd. It's great. It's a dream come true. I mean, it's just, I can run between theaters. I know like all the shortcuts through the Edison and through 4th Street and,
Yes.
Schubert Alley. And it's like I've spent my whole life sort of waiting for this moment and preparing for this moment. So I wake up like I'm in a dream. I love it so much.
And talk to me about what it's like working uh, with your other creative partner, Des McAnoff, we're going back to Tommy right now. That, also bringing his work back to the stage in that way. How has that been?
Yeah, Des is amazing. I mean, Des is an expert. He's a visionary. He's been doing this for many, many years. Any Des McAnoff show, you can take a picture of any millisecond on that stage and it will be a beautiful picture. The man, I've never seen anybody with a scalpel go, no, move that person 3 inches to the left. And you're like, oh, so much better. You know, um, he's an expert. And Gordon Greenberg on Heart of Rock and Roll, we're having a blast. Gordon is a very funny man and a wonderful director, and it's also been very collaborative. Both experiences have been delicious.
I spoke to Gordon a little while ago, and I referenced something that Huey Lewis said at the opening night Back to the Future. I mean, really, now we're calling we have Back to the Future and Huey Lewis music. I mean, really, Broadway is just Huey Lewis's stage right now. But he spoke about how theater actors are just the hardest working people in the business, in the entertainment world, hands down. And it's such an honor for him to be a part of that world now. What is it like, what is that? What is working in choreographing for Broadway, mean to you in terms of that? I mean, I agree with it. The hardest working people there are.
Yes, I think working on Broadway is a blue collar job. You are there, you have to show up, you have to show up for many hours, and it's blood, sweat, and tears. And as a dancer, I just the ensembles in both of these shows are working so hard with so much integrity. They're dancing full out every second of the day, and I really try and show them off because I love them. I love these people. They're extraordinary. Dancers are extraordinary. They're up there working because of how it feels and what they want to say to an audience. They're not doing it for the money. They're not Dancers don't get fame. So it's pretty amazing. And obviously our lead actors are all extraordinary. They're working real hard and they're beautiful, beautiful singers and actors.
Absolutely. Well, now we all get to show up to see these incredible productions. Lorin, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
You can catch the Who's Tommy revival and the new musical, The Heart of Rock and Roll, this season on Broadway. Stay right here on Theater Pizzazz for more Broadway interviews from me. I'm Meredith Heyman. Thanks for watching.